Great to be back out. First game jitters, which, I wrote a little note to each one of our players. A lot of first things, a lot of first times for kids putting their jersey on, a lot of first times for playing in front of a crowd, a lot of first times, a lot of, first, last for Chrissy Carr. There was a lot of nerves. I was pleasantly surprised that our kids were nervous because that means it's important to them. If they just thought it was something regular, another practice, they wouldn't have had nerves. So I thought we settled down, had a great first quarter, and then we just started getting rushed. We started taking some really hard shots they're hard to make, and that got Arkansas Fort Smith going. And I think that led to a quarter and a half there where we struggled a little bit, but I thought we got it going. And as far as exhibition goes, nobody got hurt. Both teams got out of there without anybody getting injured. I think we'll both leave better than that, and that's what you want for your exhibition games. And I fired Pat Jenkins as free throw shooting coach. He's been fired. I brought him on this summer. I don't know if anybody saw it. It was no press release. No, that's just.
Tell me that.
Sorry. No, that's on me. We had a really unfocused free throw shooting day, and I let it go. And I was sure that won't happen again. And there was a little groan in the locker room. We'll be a little more focused when we practice free throws. We got there plenty of times, but we left 21 points out there that we can't do that when our conference and non-conference season gets started. So.
Just talk about the defensive side of it and how you just some points you showed flashes of closeout, but then there was times where there was lapses of just being able to let them have some easy threes.
Still really hard for me to go and be too critical yet because we're still not scouting. We're not preparing them. We're not telling them these are their plays, these are their actions, these are what they can do. Rodriguez Eccles is the top 100 kid in America coming out of high school. We didn't talk about that. We didn't talk about their actions. So I wanted us to get better as the game went along, and I thought we did. Early on, I think some of it's technique, a lot of it's coaching, and we'll get better at that. But I always want our offense to be ahead of our defense, which it obviously is. There's a lot of room for growth. But this is a group. Max stopped me coming off the floor and said, I got the film tonight. I can fix transition. I can fix it. You don't have to worry about it. How cool is that? We can go back and start working on Pine Bluff. She's got it. She said, Coach, I got it. We got it. Okay, cool. So we're going to watch film. We'll let Mac watch film with the team, and then we'll shoot some free throws tomorrow and get our legs back under us. But what was your question? Did I even answer your question? Did you ask about free throws? Or did I just take it?
No.
Oh, you asked about defense?
Yes.
I was just okay. Part of it is scheming. We'll be better at scouting, so we'll have more film and we'll work at it more. But right now I wanted us to be we're going to be a little bit more aggressive than we've been in the past, so we're going to get flown by a little bit. Because if you didn't notice, Merriam changes things around the basket, and Jersey does too. So I want us to be a little bit more aggressive in our closeouts so we don't give up as many threes. They were 9 for 33, which if we can hold people to that type of effort and then rebound behind it, we've got a chance. So.
When I ask the players, what is it like, with the rebounds on both? They're very aggressive on both ends of the court. Mm-hmm. And what do you think that's going to do for you in transition on both ends of the court?
We're going to have to work at it more. We got beat in transition defense a few times because we are rebounding an extra person this year. We're letting Mac rebound. I don't know how many she ended up getting, but she got 4 offensive rebounds, which in the past she would have never gotten because I had her sprinting back. So there's going to be a little give and take there. We probably will give up more transition baskets than we've ever given up, but I hope also we improve in that rebounding area that we needed to improve in. So there's a little give and take there. Transition offense was really good in the first quarter. Maybe we were tired. I'll have to look at what our information tells us about how hard they played, but some of it was we walked the ball up the floor 4 times in the second quarter. And I hadn't seen our team do that in 6 years. So we talked about it at halftime, and it didn't happen as much. Some of that's players being a little bit out of position still, like Saylor not remembering whether to throw the ball in or run. All things that we can clear up.
And I'll go back to Michaela. And just what does it mean after an exhibition game? She's already really cementing herself as the leader of this team and saying, I've got that. That's something that we haven't seen in years past.
She's been doing it. with her actions, but just not her voice, because we've had some pretty strong personalities in the past. We don't really have that right now. So she's doing it with her voice and her actions. And I also think we've got really good followers. Like, I talked to Sam about being a captain. She goes, Coach, I want to be part of that. I want to take care of our culture, and I'll be a caretaker, but let Mac do that. Everybody looks to Mac. And Erin's done a lot more this summer and this year in a positive way to be a leader as well. And it'll be a combination of those two. But to know that you got Mac, who knows, not only knows what we're doing, but why we do things now. That's we'll sleep well tonight. Even though there's a lot to fix, there'll still be a lot of good things to find. We didn't give up more than 16 points in a quarter. We took 126 shots combined and only turned it over 13 times. That's an unbelievable stat. I don't know if you've ever looked at a box score, other box scores, but usually when you take 126 shots, that number's a lot higher than that. So there's still some we can fix. Lots of areas to improve. By no means completely satisfied, but I'm also not going to, nitpick too much and be too critical of anybody or anything at this point.
You talked the other day about how long it had been since Sailor had actually played a real game, and
Yeah.
Miriam as well, being off. Just talk about what you saw out of them coming back.
Excitement and eagerness and the potential that we all know is there. Sailor's been out with the last few days of practice. Timing was a little off. She said her legs felt dead, but you saw some glimpses of what it can be. And then, Miriam, she's still not 100%. Like, it takes 2 years to come back off an ACL. I don't care what anybody tells you. It takes 2 full years to get the confidence and the in your knee and in yourself to come back out and play. But just the way that she goes about it, just this smile on her face and this killer instinct attitude, I think you see the glimpses. And then, we haven't talked about it yet, but I thought Jersey had as good an off season for any kid I've ever seen that didn't come to the gym very much. It's a weird thing. Like, she was very choosy, very picky, picking and choosing spots, but she grew so much with her experience last year. And she took her time this summer and was very, very specific in what she worked on. And I thought what she did tonight, how she went about doing it, that was the thing that I loved to see, was that growth from her. Very, very mature. Everybody thinks she's taller. It's the first summer she hasn't grown in her life. All right? I mean, she didn't grow 1 inch from last year's measure to this year, but everybody sees her and they think she's taller. They're like, Jersey grew more. And I said, no, she didn't. She's just walking with that chin up and the shoulders back, and she's a lot more confident, and I thought she played really, really well tonight. I want to make sure I talked about her.
5 players in double figures. Were you happy with kind of the ball distribution and kind of how the ball spread around the court with all your players?
Yeah. I'm glad Chrissy got one going. Chrissy's a great shooter, and she's so nervous. She's beating herself up. She thought she got some great looks, which she did. But, yeah, I mean, Sailor's going to end up with more than 6 shots most nights. And had she been 100% healthy, I probably would have drawn some more actions up for her. I want to see a number of our kids in double figures with shot attempts. So you look there, and I count field goals. I count free throws too. So you look at Erin, 22. You look at Sam, 21. Chrissy, 14. She's got to get to the foul line some. Mac, they're around 21. Jersey at 17. Yeah, the shot distribution looks really good. I didn't really look at it until you mentioned it, but yes.
And then finally, kind of how does a game like this set you up for your regular season, given that there were things still to fix and things weren't perfect?
Well, I don't ever want to have one of those nights where it's just us stealing it from a team and going and laying it in, and everybody feels good about themselves, but you don't have any usable film. So that's why we continue to play Fort Smith. And I just talked to Ryan again. As long as we can keep doing it, they're a sister school of ours. They're right down the road. He does things the right way. I know his teams are going to come in prepared. It gets us better. So this, coupled with our closed-door scrimmage that we couldn't talk about until after we did it with Kansas, I think it gets us ready to go on the road to Pine Bluff, back home with the UCA, and then for that Tulsa swing. I think we'll be as prepared as you can be. That, along with our men's practice team that we have goes daily, I I think it shows that we're in a competitive mindset already. I thought our conditioning was pretty good too. Nobody played more than 26 minutes, but Mac was about to die. So we got a ways to go because I'd like to be able to play her 30 or 35.
Hey, Coach, that first quarter you talked about it, you guys came out really hot, really good. What do you think was clicking so well with your team in that first quarter, and why do you think it kind of dropped off a little bit in that second? Do you kind of know what was going on there?
I'm not positive. I'm just guessing. I'm going to take a guess without watching the film. I thought our pace really at the start was unbelievable. Yeah. Like we were flying. And I think that is hard to simulate in practice. And then I think they kind of settled in, and then we started walking it up. And we stopped taking advantage of what, and then we started taking really hard shots. And that was on what we did in the first quarter. We got a little less aggressive. We didn't get to the foul line as many times in the second quarter. I don't think. Let me look back at that. Yeah, a few less times. So I think it was pace. So I'm not going to blame it on conditioning yet. Tyler does a great job with us. It may have been the rotation. I can't remember exactly who started the second quarter. I'll have to go back and look. Could be a combination, something I did. Or it could be they picked it up too. I think they started really getting back in transition and stopping us, so I'll give them some credit there as well. Probably a combination of all those three things.
Talking about players just maybe having some jitters, but then Michaela, whenever she's in, y'all scored plus 26, which was 7 points more than any other player. Was that just maybe a calming factor from her, the reason y'all did so well?
Sure. Yeah, you expect that out of her. She has the ability to fix a lot of things. You have to really watch her very closely if you're only going to watch her one or two times, or you have to watch her over a period of time till you really appreciate how much she talks in transition, how good she guards ball screens, how she doesn't need help. Like if you'll watch, her kid never hardly gets past her. But she'll be there to fix it for others. So, she is – we've been trying to talk her up nationally. She does not get the national recognition, so let's keep talking about her here. But what she's done, what did she have, 21 and 9 and drew 10 fouls. That didn't count as a triple-double, I'm going to tell her. Drawing fouls isn't a real stat. But, she is it's been her team. She knows that, and I think the kids have recognized that as well. So that her and Sam together, I just like those two kids at the top so much. This is the first time we've played two little kids at the top. Two of our littles. We usually have a big and a little up there. Now we got two littles up there. But it comes at you in a hurry. That could be too. I'm gonna go back and look. We may have just hit on it. I'm not sure I played Mac and Sam together as much. It may be that. We'll go back and look.
And then the last thing that I had was just Aaliyah Prince for them. She's 5'8", but had 22 points, 13 rebounds. What did you think about her?
I just told her in the handshake line, if she doesn't do that to everybody the rest of the year, I'm going to come down there and get her and get on it, because she was very impressive. And I told Coach that, I thought we had as hard a time guarding her as anybody we have guarded in the SEC. She got by a number of people. She really got them 13 rebounds. That's defensive rebounds. That's effort, because that's her going to the glass defensively, because we got somebody getting back. And then she turns that into transition too. So I told her we got high. I'm going to hold her accountable. I'm going to be watching every game they play, and if she doesn't put 22 and 13 on people, I'm going to be mad at her. So she was really cute. She smiled and said, "Oh, thank you very much." Fort Smith's my alma mater too, so I'm going to keep following them. It used to be West Stark. Come on now, don't try to age me like that. But. Go, Porter. We just went from the shortest pregame press conference to the longest postgame press conference. I love it. Thank y'all. I love it. Thanks.
You alluded to the rotations. What did you see with your rotations, and what I know it was just the exhibition. What more can we see out of those in the upcoming games?
We'll probably stick with what we did today. I like how it sets up. I like the way we subbed through that top 9 that we kind of rotated in there, that first 9. It gives us a variety of speed and length and size. We can hit you a couple of different ways with some matchups. We can keep Mac and Sam fresh. We need one of those kids in there quite a bit. We really do. But I like the rotation. I'm sitting here and I keep looking down at 25 for 46. If we would have gone 32 for 46, I probably would have been way less critical. So I'm probably overthinking other things and less, but I like the rotation. I like the way they came in. I like the way it changed the flow of the game. But we do have to see if that point in the back was right, if she was right. If we've got to make a slight change, maybe sub somebody a little bit earlier, I'd kind of had in my head, and I'm stubborn when it comes to that in these exhibition games, like we're going to play through the medias, this first 5, that first, and then sub, then probably would have made us a little – we got tired a couple times there. I mean, they called a timeout with 53 seconds because I'm not sure either of our teams is going to be able to finish that last 56 seconds. I was going to take one if he didn't. So I think, you forget to breathe on your first night. You forget to exhale and inhale. But I think we can put together some pretty cool ones. But I liked how it went tonight.